Maido. Hi there, Japan fans. In today's show, we are going to talk about business interviews. Preseno Master Shimashou. This is the fourth year of the Presentations Japan series podcast, and we are beaming around the world to you from sunny Minato-ku here in Tokyo. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, your corporate coaching and training guy, committed to your success, the president of Dale Carnegie Training Japan and best-selling author, Japan Sales Mastery and Japan Business Mastery. My new book, Japan Presentations Mastery, will be released shortly. Through this podcast, I want to help you become a better speaker who is clear, confident, persuasive, and highly influential at those around you. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn, who, unlike many other podcast hosts, have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on iTunes. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show. Tuesdays, the Presentations Japan series. Every second Tuesday, the Business Tatsujin no Oshie Show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series. Every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcast Show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show. And Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. This is episode number 246. Today we are talking about how to be a star in business interviews. Being interviewed by the media can be a high-risk affair depending on the publication, the journalist, and the business zeitgeist of the moment. These types of interviews come up relatively rarely in business. More common are panel discussions at business events hosted by chambers of commerce, and more recently, interviews on podcasts. I have been on both sides of the microphone, so let me share some observations which may help you to prepare for your interview. Chamber panels and podcasts are usually not gotcha interviews, as we will encounter with some journalists doing media interviews. Generally, we are going to be treated well, and it would be rare that the interviewer really went after you. Having said that, though, we have to expect the interviewer to want to dig down deeper into something you have said. This can be of two basic varieties. One is a high-level statement you made where the context and detail is obvious to the speaker. This may not be obvious to the audience, though, so the interviewer will seek more detail and clarification. In this case, that is not a problem because we have the depth of mastery of the subject. The other variety is a statement that may be accepted wisdom, or it might be something we have said without giving too much thought to it. This is when we get into trouble because as soon as the interviewer starts to dig in, it becomes plainly obvious we don't know all that much about it, and out pours fluff instead of substance. The answer here is to talk about things you've experienced, read about in detail, have researched deeply, or where you have listened to experts. This sounds obvious. However, we don't know where we will go with the questions, and we can be drawn to stray into areas where our intellectual coverage is pretty thin. There's nothing wrong with honesty. Just say, I don't have much to say on that subject because I'm not an expert in that area. However, something I do feel passionate about is ... Don't just end with it telling the audience you don't know much, because we are starting to damage our personal brand. Avoid leaving the conversation hanging in the air with us having admitted we are babbling on about stuff we don't know too much about. Immediately segue into an area where we are knowledgeable and talk about that. Always seek the questions in advance. With media people, they will do that, but often they have a couple of silent assassins ready, which they will hit you with unexpectedly to throw you off balance to gain their scoop. Business panels and podcasts are usually not like that. Generally, for panels, they will let you know in general terms what is the broad discussion they are looking for. In the case of a panel, it is unpredictable where the conversation will move, but at least there are broad rails bounding the subject matter. Again, it is always better to say you don't know than trying to snow the organisers or the audience. Instead, make a comment about some aspect you do know well and preserve your expert status. Find out more. We come back from the break. Our show today is brought to you by our public programs, but we also do custom-made in-house classes. Now, we do them in our super safe classroom, we do them live online, and we do them in Japanese, and we do them in English. Okay, today's show is brought to you by, on the 30th of July, we'll look at analysing issues and decision-making. On the 3rd of August, getting results without authority. And on the 6th of August, innovation. Check out our website at www.dale-carnegie, carnegie.co.jp. Lots and lots of value for you there. Now, to do better in Japan, email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. Get my best-selling books, Japan Sales Mastery, that's the Bible for selling in Japan, and Japan Business Mastery, and my new book, Japan Presentations Mastery. If you like learning by watching videos, there are over 1,000 there for you at Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. We release 3 TV shows every week on YouTube. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, which is the premier business show in Japan, comes out Mondays. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show, and Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders in Japan from SMEs all the way up to the corporate captains of industry on one topic, leading in Japan. Every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro Television Show. Don't forget, you can email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. Welcome back. For podcasts, you should expect they will have a set list of questions, and you should get those in advance. If the interviewer says something like, "I let the muse guide me," then I wouldn't recommend joining that podcast unless you are massively confident about the subject matter. Generally, there will be prior episodes, so you can get a sense of whether you are in the presence of real genius or a total nutter. Often there will be a pre-meeting to go through the episode theme and for them to get a sense of what sort of a guest you will be. You can also get a sense of who they are too. Prepare for the questions, but understand you won't be able to read from notes. The pace will move too fast for that. You can glance at your notes, so it is better to have them arranged for easy reference if you indeed need to do that. Just having mentally calibrated the questions is usually enough. Remember, you are there because you know about the subject, so it will be easy for you to speak about it. That is often the real problem. We do know a lot about the subject, and we talk for too long and say too much. Media interviews are an area where the more concise you are, the safer it is. Panel discussion hosts don't like guests who want to hog the limelight, so they will unceremoniously cut you off, effectively signaling to the audience that you lack self-awareness. Podcast hosts may just edit the hell out of you. There is a balance, but being concise comes across a lot better than rambling. If what you say is a bit too circumspect, the interviewer will draw you out further. If you hear yourself talking too much, then you probably are. So you need to conclude your remarks on that point and stop. Rehearse your remarks based on the questions. Remember, these are public occasions, and just as you would rehearse for a public speech, you need to do the same for the interview. This will help you to trim the fluff from your answers and polish them into succinct, clever responses, which will shine a positive light on you. This is just as much your personal brand as giving a keynote speech. Your fellow panelists or rivals on other podcasts won't take this step. Think of these occasions in this way, and you will definitely come across as a star. Thank you for joining the Presentations Japan series. If you got value from today's show, spread the love around and share it with your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. Immediately apply what you have learned today, use it, and go out there and become a presentations legend. Remember, I'm your corporate coaching and training guy in your corner, committed to your success here in Nippon.